Today on an all-new Dr. Phil.
My girlfriend is stuck in Germany.
You've never met her in person, never heard her voice.
He's been drained of most of his retirement money.
You have sent a grand total of $154,300 in 5 months, and she's still not here.
His family says she's not real.
I've sent her cards. The cards came back.
But none of the money came back.
But now,
She has texted him just while he's been on this stage.
Honey, talk to me.
will she prove them wrong?
Why don't you say, I'm here, what's up? Today's going to be a changing day in your life. You've never had anybody working harder to bring you to the threshold of change than right now. Dr. Phil, how are you, Dan?
Hi.
Laura, how are you?
Nice to meet you.
Listen, I just wanted to talk to you guys for a couple seconds before we go out, because I want you to know I'm like really sensitive to what we're going to do with your dad. He just turned 80, so there's no room for a do-overs.
Right.
You're going to have to really be supportive of him, and I'm going to do the same thing. But then when you go home and the gravity of this lands on him,
Right.
Sure.
you got to really be supportive of him, because it can really
Oh, yeah.
unwind. So I just want to let you know I'm sensitive to that. I'm going to be sensitive
Yeah,
to it.
much appreciated.
And y'all are going to have to really be supportive of him. So I'm going to talk to him first and let him have his say.
Sure.
And then I'll have you join us out there shortly after that. But as y'all know, this isn't the first time that we've had innocent victims of these love scams on this show. So we'll let everybody kind of watch this as a reminder of what we do and how we do this. So
Right.
let's take a look at this.
I met Kelly on Match.com. She seemed really nice.
David told me he was absolutely deeply in love with me. I am also in love with David.
I met Kimberly when I signed up on a popular dating website.
You guys hit it off instantly, right?
Yes.
I was really drawn to James through his voice.
I said, wow, this guy's really handsome. I can't believe he's talking to me.
Things moved really, really quickly, and much to my dismay, I fell in love.
I have helped David out financially.
I've sent Chris money thousands of times.
You've successfully wired a lot of money.
Yes, but it wasn't easy.
I saw his passport.
If you look closely, there's a woman in the background. We put representatives on the ground in Nigeria.
So right now, we're about to look for Ellie Smith. These addresses do not exist.
I want to take a look at these letters that he sent you. There was something in you that no other woman had. That love letter comes from scam alert website pigbusters.net. Let me ask you this. Is there a possibility that this is a scam?
It's a scam. It's just a plain scam.
I know now that I was unwittingly money laundering.
I just feel betrayed.
He got me. He got me good.
Behind me are the former guests that you just saw. Collectively, these innocent and trusting men and women have lost a total of $2,694,696 to love scammers. It's just unbelievable, right? Ralph says he has been looking for love ever since his wife of 51 years passed away 3 years ago. He says he has spent every penny of his savings desperately trying to get his girlfriend, Louise, home from Germany, but she is detained because her visa expired. Oh, and she's been accused of espionage. Now, Ralph says he is convinced Louise is real, totally, 100%. But of course, his family is convinced otherwise. Now, today, we're going to try to get to the bottom of this, not just for ourselves, but for him. So he has some clarity about this. Take a look.
My girlfriend Louise is stuck in Germany and unable to come back unless she pays a fee to the German government. I've been in a relationship with Louise for about 10 months. We met on a dating site. She had all the traits that I was looking for in a girlfriend. Honesty, trustworthiness, God-fearing. Louise and I communicate almost exclusively on a daily basis via text messages. After finishing text, I can't wait for my phone to ding to find out what's happening in her life. Louise is supervisor for a construction company that's building a shopping mall for the German government. Our relationship has been a series of roller coasters. The first time she tried to come to visit me, I waited at the airport at the baggage claim area for 2 hours with 24 roses, and she never showed up. Louise was detained at the airport because her visa had expired. Another time, she was suspected of espionage. Then her work contract was suspended because she didn't pay union wages. I have sent her money to help her at each of these stages. She would need $20,000, $30,000, or $50,000. Over the course of the many months, the various problems that she has had has resulted in me sending her approximately $150,000. These 10 months made me feel helpless. I've depleted the funds that I have. We have talked about getting married, but I've never seen or spoken to her. I can't wait for her to be here so that we can show the family that she is real and our love is true.
Okay, now, before we talk about Louise, let me talk about you a little bit.
Okay.
First off, you were married for 51 years?
51 years, yes.
Wow, I've been married 42. I feel like a kid now. You've been married 51. And you lost your wife 3 years ago?
Yes, she had Lewy body dementia.
Okay, well, I'm very sorry for your loss. After 51 years, that has to feel like part of you died, right?
Yes, absolutely.
And so when she first passed away, you obviously grieved her loss and felt a real emptiness in your life, right?
Yes, absolutely.
And how long was it before you decided that you wanted to fill that emptiness? Of course, you never replace her, but you wanted to fill it in some way.
While she was still coherent, we talked about what's going to happen after I die, because Lewy body dementia is an insidious disease that just progresses. And she encouraged me to date after she passed away.
Right.
And so after 3 years, I decided to pursue that approach.
Mm-hmm. And now you're in this relationship with Louise, but before you met Louise, you met another woman.
Yes.
And you got into a relationship with her, right?
Yes.
And
a short relationship.
Did you get serious with her?
It was getting a little serious, yes.
Did you ask her to marry you?
Yes, I did.
And what happened to that relationship?
She said no because she was a perfectionist, and I guess I'm not. And I didn't fit in with her the way she wanted her future to go.
Where'd you meet her?
We both volunteered at a resale shop for our church.
Right.
And I met her through that.
Okay. And was that a letdown when she didn't want to get married, or were you okay with that?
Initially, it was a letdown, but in retrospect, it was probably the correct approach.
Right.
Based on her life and mine.
Is she still in your world? Are you still friends, or?
We left on a friendly basis,
okay.
Yes.
Yeah, good. Okay, and then you meet Louise. So she's the second woman you've had a serious commitment to.
Yes.
Okay, and tell me what makes her so special.
We're sort of kindred spirits. Her initial profile was all the things that I was looking for in a wife, in a woman, in a companion. And I guess she picked up on all of my likes and dislikes also, and I think we're a very good match as far as our lives together.
But she fell for you pretty quick.
Yeah, I guess I fell for her pretty quick also. It seemed like a very good match.
You guys have talked about getting married.
Yes, we did.
Just to be clear, you've never actually met her in person.
That is correct.
You've never actually heard her voice.
No, I haven't.
So she could sound like me for all you know.
Hi, Louise.
And later, I have your phone here, and she has texted you 4 times since you came out here. Do you mind sharing with us what she's texted to you?
There's Thursday. Is their father
My dad prowls young women on the internet.
an online predator?
Are you representing yourself to be younger than you are?
No. Yes, I did.
So no, except mostly yes.
And an alcoholic?
Were you drunk in public in your girlfriend's shorts?
Not that I recall.
This was your last DUI?
I was tased, kicked in the face.
After he tried climbing a fence to get away from the cops.
That's Thursday. Then on Friday.
When was the last time you saw your son alive?
I dropped him off at kindergarten.
After 8 years.
Do you believe Timothy's alive? Somebody is talking to this boy today.
That's Friday.
When I think about this internet dating and swiping left or right or sending thumbs up or whatever it is they do, I don't really think about you being on there. I think about young players out there kind of doing this instead of the club scene, but you did this on the internet, right?
Yes, it was a free trial on one of the dating sites. And I thought it had been 3 years, almost 3 years since my wife passed away.
Yeah.
I was kind of lonely. I thought, well, I'll give it a shot. And picked right up on Louise, and
so free trial, right?
yes.
You got your money's worth there.
Yeah. It might not be too free.
Yeah. Yeah, well, you know what they say, you get what you pay for. So you guys have talked about getting married one day.
Yes, we did.
And how long after you met her before you talked about getting married?
Probably 3 or 4 months after we initially started exchanging information and started getting really serious as to a future commitment and moving forward with our lives together.
Just to be clear, you've never actually met her in person.
That is correct, yes.
And you've never FaceTimed with her.
No, I've tried and never connected, yes.
Just couldn't get a connection?
No. So it's all been either text or emails.
So you've never actually heard her voice?
No, I haven't. No,
You've never talked to her on the phone?
No.
So you've never met her, you've never seen her on FaceTime, and you've never completed a phone call with her?
That is correct.
During what period of time?
Well, it's been 10 months now since we've started our relationship.
Wow. Now you say you have a lot in common with Louise, and when we asked you to describe her, you said honesty, integrity, truthfulness, that you're both Christians.
Yes.
And you're both widowers.
Yes.
So those are some root values that are pretty core to any relationship that you'd want to have the same, right?
Yes.
And so you felt that kindred spirit right away.
Yes, and then it moved on to likes and dislikes and where you want to go with your life and hobbies and what are your interests, and it was a very good match.
Why haven't you talked to her on the phone?
I've tried, and I'll just get in runs to voicemail. I've never been able to connect directly with her.
Does that strike you odd? Because we're in an electronic age. I can call somebody in Munich right now and get them on the phone, like they're in the next room.
Yeah, there's been some red flags. That's one of them. And I guess I'm kind of blind and ignored it.
Because in 10 months, I mean, because you text a lot.
Yes.
I mean, couldn't you, when you're texting, say, I'm tired of talking to your voicemail, let's make a telephone appointment for 4:00 p.m. your time tomorrow. You'll have your phone in your hand, and I will dial it, and you'll pick up, and we'll talk. Have you tried that?
No, I've never gone that far, other than just to try and make the call, and she has received some of my voicemails, but we've never connected.
Have you gotten voicemails from her?
No, I never have.
Really? She's never even left you a message?
No, no.
So she could sound like me for all you know.
Hi, Louise.
Yeah. Hey, Ralph. You don't know. And you think that she has a phone that doesn't have international capability?
It's strange, yes. I'm not sure what internet service she has, but it seems kind of strange.
Have you thought about buying her a phone with international service and FedExing it to her?
That's another problem. I've sent her cards, and they've come back undeliverable. And so for me to put together a Christmas package or something, I couldn't do that because I wasn't sure of her correct address.
So you've sent some things that have come back?
The cards came back, yes.
But none of the money came back?
No, unfortunately.
Okay, well, next, Ralph says Louise has been hard at work supervising the construction of a government mall in Berlin and will be paid $4.5 million when the project is complete. He says then she will be able to pay him back all of the money he has sent her. His son doesn't agree. So we're going to meet Ralph's family after the break.
My father-in-law is involved in a romance scam.
He's been drained of most of his retirement money.
It makes me so sad that he is 80 years old and looking for a part-time job when he's worked his whole life.
In Dr. Phil May.
See this? My guest, Angie, says that is ironclad evidence that her husband, Joe, is having an affair.
I could see the buttocks of a woman sitting on top of Joe.
You actually think that he's bringing her not only into your home, but into your bed while you're in it. She says, I will kill you.
I never threatened to kill her. I'll go to jail for killing you.
You were pretty violent at the hotel.
I did not lay my hands on her.
She's controlling the security. She's possessing me right now. Like, are you God? Do you think you're God? You're not God.
I wanted a card to express my love with lots of hearts. I love you so very much, Ralph. About a month later, the card was returned as undeliverable.
Well, Ralph says he cannot wait until his girlfriend Louise finally returns to the U.S. so they can settle down and begin planning their wedding. But Ralph's son Dan and daughter-in-law Laura say they are sure that day will never come. Now, you said returns to the U.S., so where's she from?
I think initially Alabama, and her Facebook page was Pennsylvania.
Okay, so she's a U.S. girl.
She was born in the Isle of Wight,
okay,
so off the coast of England.
But she's lived here,
yes,
in Alabama and Pennsylvania.
Yes, that's
so
correct.
She knows American ways and
yes, and
all of that. Okay, but his family thinks this day's not ever going to happen. Take a look.
My father-in-law is involved in a romance scam.
He's been drained of most of his retirement money.
Ralph has given this woman $130,000 to $160,000.
My father is lonely and looking for love and companionship.
My father-in-law had met a woman online from Alabama living in Germany, and that just threw up so many red flags for me.
My family has questioned that Louise is real.
In June 2018, my father-in-law was at the airport waiting for Louise to arrive. She didn't. And then he sent me a letter from German immigration saying that her visa had expired and that she was going to be held for espionage.
My wife called the German embassy. They said things didn't work that way.
Louise changed her name. Her name was Dottie. Then she changed her name to Dorothy.
And then Dorothy Louise, it switched to Louise Dorothy.
Why wouldn't you give somebody your real name?
We tried calling Louise. We got a message that it was a text now number, unable to make phone calls, just text communication. We thought that was suspicious as well.
Ralph had told me that she'd gone to school in Singapore. On social media, it said that she went to school in Sweden. Definitely a red flag.
I contacted the police department in his town. After they talked to him, they called me and said, we feel like he still believes that it's real.
To get the money that he needed to send to Louise, he cashed in an IRA that he had. He used money out of the family trust. He's closed and used checking accounts and savings accounts.
He thought it was just a loan that he would be getting back. She had sent him a bank statement showing that she had $850,000.
He believes that she will get that money back to him. They'll live together, and they'll never have to worry about the money.
It's very upsetting because my dad has always been very smart with money.
Recently, Louise had asked my father-in-law for $2,500 to cover her rent.
And I mentioned to her that I was worried for her, but I couldn't help. Since then, I have not heard as to where she is or what has happened to her.
It makes me so sad that he is 80 years old and looking for a part-time job when he's worked his whole life.
I do not think it is a scam. I trust her. I think she's honest.
My hope is we're going to get the evidence that we need to convince my father-in-law that this has got to be over.
Well, Dan, Lord, thank you all for being here. We talked backstage for a minute, and you've been listening to me talk to Ralph. You were surprised that your dad was dating a woman he had never met, that he had gotten disinvolved with somebody he had never met, right?
Yes.
Because that's not like him.
Correct. He initially told us about it the day before my daughter graduated from college. We were out to dinner, and he leaned over and said, "I have a new girlfriend." And I said, "Where did you meet her?" And he said, "Online." And I said, "Where does she live?" And he said, "Alabama, but she's currently working in Germany." And I was like, the little red flag went right up right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what was your first reaction to him? What did you say back to him?
I was just like, "Oh, you know, that's nice, you know, tell me more about it, whatever." We got together, I think, for Father's Day, and he was passing around his phone showing us pictures of her and, you know, look how pretty she is and everything. And it just, I don't know, it just kind of seemed too good to be true.
Mm-hmm. And too good to be true because of the age difference, because of they were so close so quick? What was it that sent off bells for you?
Just kind of the, I don't know, the long distance logistics of how are you going to make this work? Mm-hmm. You know, if this person is real, how are you actually going to get together? Are you know, is she going to move up here? Are you going to move down there? Because I was assuming that she was coming right back to Alabama after her project was done.
And Lori, you had butterflies about this from the get-go, right?
Yeah, when Dan told me.
What was it about it that made you skeptical from the beginning?
Well, I mean, I've seen shows, read articles about romance scams, and it just, you know, some of that stuff just kind of sticks with you. Mm-hmm. And, you know, my father-in-law is a wonderful man, and he deserves to have somebody that he can spend his life with. And so as much as I want him to be with somebody, I want him to be with somebody that's next to him in the flesh. And so when Dan told me about this, I don't know, I just was like, ugh, I'm not so sure about that. It's a little weird. Mm-hmm. And then in, you know, Father's Day, again, I just said to my dad, I said, please don't send any money.
How long was it from the minute you started talking till you sent the first money?
Within 2 months.
And how much did you send to start with?
$20,000.
What I want to do today to help you is I go into everything open-minded, but I want to ask you to do the same thing, and let's follow the facts. Mm-hmm. Fair enough?
Sure.
And to follow the facts, we have to be completely transparent about everything, because I've spent a lot of time digging into this, and I just want to share the facts and let you make up your own mind. I can't decide for you. How long was it after you started communicating with this individual that you sent even a penny, a dime, a dollar? How long was it from the minute you started talking till you sent the first money?
Probably within 2 months.
Uh-huh. And how much did you send to start with? What was the first transfer?
I really don't remember. It's probably $20,000, something like that.
Yeah. And that's a lot of money to you, right?
Absolutely.
Because you're retired, and so you're not going to replace that money.
Correct.
Certainly not easily or quickly. So that's a lot of money. You've worked long and hard to save that money.
Yes.
So within a couple of months, you sent $20,000 to someone you had never met, seen in person, seen on FaceTime, or even talked to on the phone.
Right.
When you hear it said that way, that seems kind of funny, doesn't it?
Absolutely, yeah.
I made a timeline, and you first started talking to her when?
March or April of last year.
Yeah, okay. And we've discussed some of these because we don't want to give away any information, but you've never actually sent any money directly to her.
That is correct. It's always been through a third-party organization.
Reckon why that is?
That said, how do you get money over to you? And she said, this is the best way to do it. And so that's what I followed her instructions.
Did that seem odd?
Yeah, but I don't understand money transfers or how to get money to, different countries.
But if I was going to send you $20,000 and it was a personal favor, I mean, I'd feel more comfortable if I sent it to you so I knew that it got into your hands, right?
Yeah.
So why a third party involved?
She just explained that's the way it was easiest for her to get the money transferred. I don't know if she didn't have a bank account there or what the problem was.
Right. So on August 24th, you sent $20,000 to this account, which, how do you pronounce this? Or do you know?
I don't know.
But it's just some name on, it's not her.
No, it isn't. Okay.
And then a week later, you sent another $4,000 to a different titled account. And what was the $20,000 for?
It was to meet some German government regulation, I think. I'm not sure.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
But it was something government required.
Most all of these, with the exception of one union requirement, they were all government, German government.
All right. So that's $24,000 in the month of August, and then at the beginning, then nothing in September, but then October 3rd, to another styled account, Island so-and-so and American such and such, you now sent $50,000. She's still not here.
That's correct. She didn't meet the final requirement of $8,000.
So $8,000 more would get it done.
Yes.
Now, take me through the moment that you're going to the bank and you're writing out a wire transfer authorization for $50,000. What's going through your head at that moment?
I'm kind of scared. It's, and I'm also hopeful that this is the end of it. That the final there's been a number of roadblocks over the course of these 10 months that have been put up by the German government, different requirements for her to meet, different fees and requirements like that. And so that's what I was trying to meet. And so you get one out of the way, and then another German government requirement is put in your way, another surprise, and that's the way it kept going.
Yeah, and so at this point, you've sent $74,000. And what percentage of your after-tax savings would that represent at this point?
It's probably half.
And how many years did you work to save that?
My whole career.
30 years,
yes.
40 years?
Mm-hmm.
So you've worked 30 or 40 years to accumulate $160,000 of after-tax cash, and in a little over 30 days, half of it is gone.
Mm-hmm.
Sent to someone you've never met, never seen, and never talked to.
Correct. That's correct.
And your hope is they're going to use that money to pay the German government to allow them to leave the country, to come to America, marry you, and collect their $4.5 million fee for completing construction on a government mall.
At each stage, at each step in the process, she did assure me that she had money in the United States, and once she was there, that I would be reimbursed.
So you expect to get this money back?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And she's got a $4.5 million fee coming?
Yes.
Okay. Then October 4th, the next day, you send another $5,000. So you sent the 50, and then the next day you go back and send 5. Why?
There might have been a limit of how much I could transfer at one point, and so it required a second.
So she needed 55, but this was a cap, so you had to send it in 2 pieces.
Yes, I think that was the case.
Okay. Okay, then 2 weeks later, you send 40,000. This is for taxes.
Mm-hmm. It's another roadblock and another requirement, I think.
Okay. Then 6 weeks later, and we're unclear where this one went, you sent 3,500. Then in January, just after the first of the year, 28,000. And this is to Key Blank Persky styled account. And then here to this Key account again, on the 14th, you send $3,800. And so from August 24 of 18 to January 14th of 19, which is about 5 months, you have sent a grand total of $154,300. $154,300 in 5 months. And she's still not here.
That's correct. And that's why I'm here, to resolve this issue so that I can move forward with my life.
And where is she now? Why did this 150 not get her home?
She didn't meet the final requirement of $8,000 to meet the last of the government fees.
So 8,000 more would get it done?
Yes.
But you don't have the 8?
No, I don't.
Okay, Louise has been missing now for a week. And last night, Ralph received a message from her aunt. Well, we may have an update. That's next.
The bank gave me a list of everything that they thought was suspicious, and these were checks that were made out to cash. It's just amazing that he was sending that amount of money without ever having met her before.
And later,
here we are pulling up to the building where Louise claims she lived. We're having a little bit of trouble finding the exact entrance.
My father-in-law has been lonely for a long time.
I was married to my wife for 51 years. She had Lewy body dementia. The last year, she didn't know me.
My dad and her talked about, after she was gone, meeting someone new, and she was in favor of it. Before Louise, he eventually met this woman that he dated for 4 months and asked her to marry him.
She said no, and it crushed him.
I would love for my dad to find someone that he can share his life with.
I want him to be with somebody in the flesh, somebody that will appreciate it and love him.
Well, Ralph says Louise is not only trapped in Germany, she's now homeless. He says he hasn't heard from her in a week. She's just gone MIA. Now, she kind of went MIA about the same time he ran out of money. She needed another $8,000, she said, to finally get over the hump and get home. He doesn't have the $8,000, then she goes MIA. But lo and behold, since we came out here, she has texted him several times just while he's been on this stage. So I have your phone here, and she has texted you 4 times since you came out here. So do you mind sharing with us what she's texted to you?
My love, are you with me? I really need you to respond as I have limited time. Honey, talk to me.
Uh-huh. This is after a week. She's been MIA, right?
Yes, this is the first I've heard from her since last Sunday at 2 in the morning.
Okay. Are you with me? I really need you to respond. I have limited time. Honey, talk to me. Why don't you respond and say, I'm here, what's up? You got a voicemail from her aunt.
Yes.
Right?
Last night.
And this transcript from her aunt, I've listened to the voicemail, and the transcript just basically says, hey, you don't know me, I'm Louise's aunt. I'm hoping I've got the right number for you, Ralph. Could you give me a call? I'm really concerned about her. I haven't heard from her in over a week. All I do know is she's messaged me from a while ago and told me how much she loved you. And anyways, just give me a call. I'm concerned about what's going on with her. I know she lost her apartment.
Mm-hmm.
So get in touch with me, please.
Yes.
Did you try to call her?
Yes, I did.
What'd she say? What was the message once you got her on the phone?
She was concerned, and I was concerned, and I said, as soon as I find out something as to where she's at, I'll get in touch with you and let you know.
Okay. All right, but right now, because you haven't been able to send the $8,000, she's still in Germany, but now she's homeless.
Yes, that's correct.
And so she's kind of at your mercy whether you're going to find a way to get her out or not.
She's on her own because I can't help her anymore. So I made that very clear to her that you're going to have to rely on your lawyer, your friends, your family, your son and daughter, because I can't help.
Okay. Has she responded to your text yet?
Not yet.
Okay. You might tell her aunt's looking for her, too. And while we're waiting for this response, in case we get one, we'll take a break. When we come back, I'm going to start sharing some information with Ralph that we've learned to see whether or not it's new information for him about Louise that he may not know about who she is and who she isn't. We've done some real serious investigation here. We've had an investigator on the ground in Germany. We've been to her apartment. We've been to the mall that she's purportedly working on for the government, and we've been in touch with the German consulate to find out what all of this is that the government is holding her accountable for. So we've been doing some serious digging to find out where your $154,300 has gone.
That's great.
We're going to reveal all of that after the break.
This is this woman named Louise. She claims to have lived in this building. Do you recognize her? Have you ever seen this woman before?
We've run out of time for today, but we have so much more to cover. Tomorrow, we'll head to Berlin as part of our quest to find Louise. Were we able to find her? Did people recognize her at the home address she gave Ralph? Plus, hear what the German consulate in California has to say about the documents Louise claims she received from the German government.
Tomorrow on an all-new Dr. Phil, he believes his girlfriend's stuck in Berlin.
We sent our producer to the address Louise claims to have lived.
Have you ever seen this woman before?
The address she gave you is phony. Nobody lives there.
Is she real?
This was a nude photo she sent to you.
Or a scam?
She's saying, they're holding me in Germany. We got in touch with the German consulate, and the German consulate said...
That's tomorrow.
You are not going to want to miss that. Also, tune in tomorrow to find out where Louise is now and if she makes it home. I want to thank all of my guests today. Thanks for watching.